Now, you've seen this scene before, but did you know what really happened behind it? Jaws changed everything. It didn't just make people afraid to swim, it rewrote how movies were made, marketed, and remembered. So in the next few moments, you'll learn why Robert Shaw's famous monologue seems so authentic, how a cast member was actually terrified during that iconic opening scene, and the blink and you miss it shooting star that was totally caught by accident. Number 1, the iconic theme almost didn't happen. When John Williams first played Steven Spielberg the now iconic two-note shark theme, Spielberg laughed, thinking it was some sort of a prank. But those simple notes went on to become one of the most recognizable sounds in all of cinema history. Number 2, the script wasn't finished when they started filming. Shooting began without a complete script. Scenes were rewritten on the fly, and many lines, including the most famous ones, weren't even in the original drafts. The frenetic process of getting the script together mirrored the daily filming on the tempestuous Atlantic. Number 3, the mechanical shark was as unreliable as filming with a real shark. Bruce, the 25-foot mechanical shark, constantly malfunctioned in the saltwater. Its completion was delayed, and when they finally got it in the water for its first shoot, it immediately sank to the bottom. Spielberg later said the shark not working was a blessing because it forced him to use suspense instead of spectacle. Number 4, filming in the open ocean nearly sank production. So instead of using a tank, Spielberg insisted on filming in the real Atlantic Ocean. This choice added to the authentic vibe, but real tides, drifting boats, and unplanned weather almost destroyed the schedule and the budget. Number 5, the crew invented new waterproof cameras. Jaws needed ocean shots never done before, so Spielberg's team developed new camera rigs and waterproof housings, pushing the limits of 1970s filmmaking tech and pioneering what's now standard technology in ocean filmmaking. Number 6, the opening scene was brutally real. Susan Backlinie, the film's first victim, was rigged to underwater cables. Without warning, the crew yanked violently side to side. Spielberg instructed the crew not to tell her when they'd start to get a genuine terrified reaction. Her screams of pain and terror were completely real, not because she was in danger, but because she had no idea when the violent jerks would come. She later admitted she thought she'd broken a rib, and the result was one of the most unforgettable openings in film history, powered by genuine fear. Number 7, Robert Shaw's haunting portrayal of Quint was fueled by real demons, including his own. Shaw, who played the grizzled shark hunter, brought raw intensity to the role, especially during Quint's monologue about the sinking of the USS Indianapolis. But what most viewers don't know is that Shaw was battling alcoholism during filming, and his drinking often mirrored Quint's own self-destructive arc. Shaw slipped comfortably into portraying the obsessive shark hunter whose refusal to listen to reason, like smashing the radio and overtaxing the boat, was his own undoing. In fact, the first attempt to shoot the Indianapolis scene was a disaster. Shaw was so drunk he couldn't get through it. Deeply ashamed, he called Spielberg the next day to ask for another chance, and the reshoot, done mostly sober, became one of the most iconic speeches in movie history. Shaw's real-life unraveling gave Quint's descent into obsession and doom a chilling authenticity. Number 8. Richard Dreyfuss and Shaw clashed constantly. Off-camera, Shaw and Dreyfuss couldn't stand each other. Their real tension bled into their characters' rivalry, and their tension on set and in character made the boat scenes even more intense and perfectly captured a deeper theme of old-school toughness versus new-school brains. Another example of the actors fitting perfectly into their roles. Number 9. Spielberg was terrified of the ocean. Despite directing the ultimate shark movie, Spielberg hated deep water. He admitted years later he was constantly anxious while filming at sea. You'd have to believe that his personal anxiety played a part in the suspense and tension of the film. Number 10. The author and the director snuck into the movie. Peter Benchley, the author of the original Jaws novel, makes a quick cameo as the TV news interviewer covering the shark attacks. And that voice you hear on the police dispatch, well, that's none other than director Steven Spielberg himself. So yes, both the mind behind the shark and the man who brought it to life left their fingerprints on screen. Number 11. The shark appears for less than 4 minutes. The full shark is only seen on screen for about 4 minutes, yet it still dominates the entire film. Sometimes what you don't see is scarier than what you do. Number 12. You're gonna need a bigger boat was completely improvised.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Roy Scheider's legendary line wasn't in the script. He later said the famous scene was the hardest to film. He was genuinely afraid of the ocean, and Bruce appearing while he was chumming gave him a genuine reaction. He ad-libbed the bigger boat line on the heels of this reaction after hearing the crew joking about how cramped the boat was and it wasn't big enough to hold all the equipment. Number 13, the shooting star was real. Late in the film, near the climax, when Chief Brody is preparing to confront the shark aboard the sinking Orca, as he checks his revolver and tension builds, a sudden shooting star flashes across the sky. The shooting star was not planned or added with special effects. It was a real meteor caught by the camera during filming. Director Steven Spielberg later confirmed it was a total accident and a stroke of cinematic luck. Number 14, Quint was based on a real shark hunter. Frank Mundus, a wild fisherman known for catching massive sharks, was a major inspiration. Mundus was a larger-than-life personality fishing out of Montauk, Long Island, and he is responsible for the largest shark ever caught. Number 15, Benchley vs. Spielberg, a Sharky disagreement. In Peter Benchley's book, the shark dies slowly from wounds. Spielberg thought that was too quiet, so he gave us a shark explosion because, well, cinema. But Benchley was so vehemently against the change that he was eventually thrown off set. Number 16, the Amity billboard graffiti was a clue. The vandalized billboard with a shark fin and swimmer appears before the town admits there's danger. It's not just a joke, it's a comment on denial. Number 17, the tragedy of the USS Indianapolis. Quint's monologue was based on the true story of the World War II drama. In 1945, the USS Indianapolis completed a top-secret mission, delivering parts of the atomic bomb. Days later, it was torpedoed by a Japanese submarine in shark-infested waters. Over 800 men were stranded at sea, and hundreds were killed in the largest shark attack in recorded history. This real-life event became part of the film's chilling DNA, not through spectacle, but through whispered allusions to true horror that needed no exaggeration. Number 18, test screenings were chaos. At early screenings, audiences screamed during jump scares, and Spielberg knew he had a hit when the crowd yelled so loud that they missed the next line. Number 19, Jaws created the modern-day blockbuster. Jaws changed how movies were marketed. It was the first film released nationwide in summer with TV ads, merchandise, and a nationwide release strategy, complete with one of the greatest taglines ever, "You'll never go in the water again." The film was able to embody American political and social angst of the time while being set on the sunny beaches of a vacation town. It ended up being a perfect combination filled with both tension and fun. Number 20, Benchley, the author who tried to undo his own legacy. Peter Benchley gave the world its most famous shark, and then spent the rest of his life trying to save them. After seeing how Jaws sparked global fear and led to widespread shark hunts, Benchley had a change of heart. He became an outspoken advocate for shark conservation, working with organizations like Wild Aid and the Environmental Defense Fund. He said, "If I had known then what I know now, I would have never written that book." In the end, the man who helped demonize sharks became one of their most passionate defenders. Which of these facts blew your mind the most? Drop them in the comments section below, and hey, while you're at it, click that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.